Welcome to your e-class for business studies. Before formally beginning, we'll just have the reinforcement of some of the rules. The most important is, please keep your mic and camera switched off till last. Remember, all your queries and questions that you have during the session shall be answered, and you can ask all your questions through the chat link, but you'll have to wait for the right time to get your answers. Everyone will be given the opportunity to ask their questions or queries, and as said, that will be done towards the end of the session. For any additional help or explanation required for the session, you are welcome to send email to the given email address. Just in case if there are any technical hiccups that you want to inform about, please send an email to the given email address. Today we'll be focusing at chapter 10. We'll be discussing marketing, competition, and the customers. I'm sure you understand, as you must have been hearing also from different sources, that marketing is one of the most dynamic activities for any business. And marketing, since it's associated with all the different functions, it does not exist in isolation. Like some of the operations of a company, for example, the finance management or the finance planning could be done independently. Marketing needs to be associated with all different departments in an organization, and marketing becomes the backbone, or it becomes the strength for a company. So marketing department is undertaking not only just the marketing side of it, but they are concerned with the sales, they are concerned with the market research, they are responsible for the promotion of the business, they're responsible for the distribution of the products, that is, making the product available at the right time, at the right price, at the right place. And today's marketing has become ever more dynamic than the conventional marketing, because the new mediums added because of the technological evolution have added more dynamism and more requirement of interactivity, and marketing department has to look after not just the regular marketing which is done through the convention medium, that is based on the brick and mortar, but now the marketing department has to be technologically evolving and has to be ahead of time, or at least stay abreast with the technological evolution. Whether you are focusing at a B2C product, that is from business to consumers, or you're talking about a B2B product, which is from business to business. So let's move ahead, and let's move ahead by defining first of all learning objectives for today. Today's learning objectives revolve around understanding the meaning of marketing, to be able to comprehend the role of marketing in a business, to be able to understand how well and how important it is for a business to know the competition as well as the customers. What is the power and importance of changing customer needs? I'm sure you must have heard that business is customer centric. any business or any brand which is customer centric, that is focusing on the needs of the customers, has better chance of becoming successful. Market segmentation, we need to understand the importance of market segmentation for a business. And last but not the least, we should be able to distinguish between niche and mass marketing. So we begin with defining marketing. As it is said, marketing is a dynamic function for a business. So marketing is dynamically defined as well. So marketing is the link between a society's material requirements and its economic patterns of response. Marketing satisfies the needs and wants through exchange processes in building long-term relationships. So, it is imperative to understand the needs versus wants. I am sure that you'll be able to recall the definition or the explanation for needs and wants. We all have needs and we all have certain wants. The relationship between the needs and wants is the one where needs are limited versus wants which are unlimited. So you may understand it and you may be familiar already. Let me just reinforce it. That our needs, which is clothing, shelter, feeding, are the basic necessities. These are our requirements and these are limited in nature. But our wants, that is, wanting to wear a certain type of brand of clothes, is directly linked with our wishes and desires, and that is the reason they are unlimited. An important characteristics of wants is that wants are directly correlated or are generated through one's experience and exposure. So, as you keep experiencing different scenarios, different situations, you keep learning new things. As your exposure keeps increasing, you become familiar with new things. So your wants keep evolving and changing over a period of time. That's the reason wants become unlimited. And needs are the basic requirements that do not change much. And even if the needs change, they change over a period of long term, not over a period of short term. So, here, one very important aspect of marketing that needs to be understood is that marketing is fulfilling the needs and the wants. So, marketing is fulfilling the limited versus the unlimited requirements and desires and wishes of the consumers. And that's how Dr. Philip Kotler defines marketing as the science as well as an art of exploring, creating, and delivering value to satisfy the needs of a target market at a profit. Thus, it will be rightly said that marketing works towards achieving one of the basic objectives of the business, that's earning profit. Marketing identifies unfulfilled needs and desires. It defines, measures, and quantifies the size of the unidentified market and the profit potential. For example, one way of looking at understanding marketing is an activity that fulfills some needs and wants, desires. So this means the demand already exists and marketing is just fulfilling the demand. Whereas in some scenarios, marketing even goes deeper and will need or will create a demand for which we might not be aware of. For example, about 20, 25 years ago, when when the cellular phones were first introduced in Pakistan, majority of the people said they would not need a mobile phone because at that time, though you were not born, but majority of us were used to of using the landline phones for communication. And today's time, the landline phones have become a rare commodity. Most of you might not even be using them, whereas most of you have a high importance of your cell phones. And just in case if you or some of us forget our cell phone somewhere, we feel that as if something is missing. So somebody somewhere down the lane thought that connectivity and communication is so important that you need to have a mobile device in your pocket so that you can stay connected, and eventually that mobile device is not just used for telephonic verbal communication, it's used for your all type of social interactions and so on and so forth. So somebody somewhere thought of creating a demand for a mobile phone, which many could not think initially or originally when the idea was shared. So, marketing, where it actually fulfills the needs and desires, it also creates the new needs and the desires. And just as we've said, the desires are directly correlated with your experience and exposure, and so they keep evolving, they keep growing. So we can summarize it and simplify the definition of marketing by saying marketing is identifying customer wants and satisfying these profitably. So remember, profitability is an imperative and integral component of all marketing activity. Another way of explaining marketing is that it is the management process on anticipating, understanding, and satisfying customer needs at a profit. So the three main component of this management process is knowing your customers, knowing the demands of the customers, creating the product that your customers would want to use for drawing satisfaction, which means they will be willing to pay for it, and that too you need to be able to provide and put together in a profitable manner. Now, this is marketing. This means you need to be analytically and creatively so organized that one, you understand the customer demands, two, while you are trying to fulfill those demands, you need to be profitable at all given times. So, marketing involves what all, since we call it so dynamic. It's about developing products that customers want to buy. Remember here, it is not easy to make somebody use their money on your product. So this has to be intelligently thought of. So marketing involves understanding the needs of customers. For understanding the needs of customers, you need to be able to understand the consumer behavior. You need to be able to comprehend the lifestyles of people. Only then you will be able to sell to them a product or service at a price that is affordable to the customers simultaneously at the same times gives profit to the company. So marketing involves a lot of analytical skills. Marketing involves a lot of work that the marketers have to do because they are directly dealing with the human beings and how a human being will act, respond, or react to a situation. It's not very easy to actually define. It involves a lot of work and it needs a lot of attention. So, point to ponder, and you have to think about it while after the session you go through your reading that as we've identified the activities that marketing undertakes. What do you think? Which of the above is most important and why? Now, this is something that you have to discuss or you have to think about in your own time. And you will see that every time you review this, you might be able to change the order of it, looking at the importance of it, but you will not be able to take anything out or delete related to what marketing is about. So let's move ahead by defining the role of marketing. As we've already said, it involves identifying customer needs and then satisfying those needs. This means you need to know what your customer requires or what a potential customer requires and what will make them happy and what will satisfy their needs. So the features or the characteristics or the properties of your product or service should be able to cater to those. Marketing has to maintain the customer loyalty. What is this customer loyalty? We're just going to discuss it. But remember, it's the customer relationship. It's retaining your customer, which is very important. It's not just about, marketing is not just about increasing the market share or going to the new markets or increasing the customer base. It is retaining those customers, which actually means building on to the customer relationship and following the approach of establishing and strengthening the customer loyalty. There are many different strategies that businesses undertake, the brands undertake to strengthen this relationship with their potential customers, with their existing customers, with their new customers. So this means for strengthening the customer relationship, marketing should be able to understand the changes taking place in a marketplace and then managing through these changes to satisfy the customer needs. I'm sure you can not think of a brand that has not evolved over years. I am so sure when you now think of the brands that you use on a regular basis, you can identify that how they might be evolving in terms of their offerings of the product and service over a period of time. A basic example, which we all are familiar with these days, is based on the evolution of technology and how your cellular or tech companies use this technology to actually keep the interest of their customers. The features being added into your mobile phones tells you that it is through the efficiency and effectiveness of the marketing department that they keep identifying the needs of the customers. They keep identifying that what new should be offered to the customer to get their attention, and that's how you keep getting new products and the new models periodically. So important to understand here, as we were talking about role of defining the role of marketing, that customer loyalty is important. So customer loyalty is the act of choosing one company's product and services consistently over their competitors. When a customer is loyal to one company, this actually means that the company is not only retaining the customer profitably, they are able to attract more people or more customers because of the loyal customers. And I'm sure we all experience, and you'll be able to appreciate it. Your one good experience with a brand actually is shared around, which means if you are a loyal customer using a brand or being familiar with or loyal to one company's brands, you will be talking good about it. You will be highlighting the positive aspects and the properties of that. So this means loyal customers are just better for the businesses because they help the businesses grow and they help the businesses keep their profits high. Now, this loyalty of the customers leads to retaining and increasing the market share, which is the percentage of total market sales held by one brand or business. Now, the examples shown on this slide clearly highlights and tells you, based on the sales figure, how different brands keep looking at it, that what is the market share they are retaining. For example, when you look at the packaged milk brands, you could see that Milkpack is 25% and Allpers is catching up with 23%. And look at Halib keeping the largest share. Now, with this kind of data, you could determine that where do you want to take your brand? What are the strategies or the activities that you want to keep repeating to retain the customers? And then obviously, through market information, you would need to determine not only that how you keep retaining this brand share, but how to increase it. In another example between Coke and Pepsi, as we keep here using even the brand names interchangeably, you could see that the market share of Pepsi being higher in Pakistan, and there will be many reasons to it, so we will not go into that, but that clearly tells you that where Pepsi would want to retain their share, Coke would try and adopt strategies to increase the share. So, this market share is driven from the customer base, which is directly coming from your brand loyalty, the customer loyalty. So, it is very important for the marketing department to actually work on the customer loyalty. Some of the key objectives of marketing is to work on the company's growth, making profit, maintaining and increasing market share, and we understand it since businesses are for profit, so they have to keep working on maintaining and increasing their market shares, identifying new target markets or segments for the company or the brands of the company, and that's how you see the extension in the brands. For example, Nestle bottled water has is available in different sizes. So you have a jumbo pack, you have a 1.5 liter, you have a 0.5 liter, you have 200 ml, you have a new kind of packaging being introduced so that you could, attract new segments, or you could enter new markets so that eventually you have higher sales. And once you have higher sales, this means company is in profit and companies share is growing, market share is growing. So this all comes under the purview of marketing. And marketing has objectives to keep working on promoting the product, not just through advertisement alone, but through evolving the product into a new product over a period of time, improving the product range, increasing the awareness about the product. And you keep, if with this perspective, if you now look at different brands, you'll see that how through their advertising over a period of time, different brands in the same category of product range keep showing their uniqueness and highlighting their differentiating and distinctive features, so that they can attract more customers, so that they can strengthen the customer loyalty. So, an important question that arises here is, while we are talking about customer loyalty, we are talking about retaining market share, why do consumer spending patterns change? And it is obvious there are few changes which are cyclical, seasonal. There are few changes which are related to any business's external environment. And if you recall, in the last session we did talk about economic cycle and different stages in the economic cycle. So like if a country's economy is passing through a tough scenario, if instead of growth and expansion there is contraction in the market, or the business is becoming slow, the spending pattern of the consumers will change. For example, in the current scenario, as we keep hearing about the extension in the lockdowns, or maybe imposition of some strict lockdowns, our buying patterns are evolving and changing. Then, besides that, the fashion and trends in the markets change. With the evolution of technology, with new technology, new products evolve, introduced in the market. So, this means this market and marketing is ever active, is dynamic, it's ever evolving. Since it's ever evolving, the marketing department has to be actively working and responding to the market changes, because the market will keep changing. The market will keep changing because of the external factors, or maybe because of sometimes the internal factors. The internal factors that may trigger a business could be related to growth and expansion. So, remember, consumers do not stay or do not want to stay with the product or the brand, with a company that is not responding to the market changes and needs actively. So, the important thing is change will be the constant, and the brand's management team in the marketing department will have to stay on their toes, because you are not existing in isolation. You have competition around you. Since we are talking about competition, we need to be able to understand that there are some markets which are more competitive than the others. And there are many reasons to it. One of the reasons, if you remember from the last session, we did discuss about globalization, where we said that globalization is a philosophy, is an approach, is a fact where the movement of resources have become easier across the borders. Today, technology, with the help of technology, the information that is available to you sitting down in Pakistan, which is an emerging economy, the similar kind of information is available to a kid of your age, and maybe your age group and similar grade, in a developing country like maybe US or UK, similar kind of information is available. Now, how you both in two different parts going to access it and use it to your advantage purely depends on you. Similarly, with the growth in globalization, the products are becoming more mobile and markets are becoming more versatile because of the technology, because of internet, because of the e-commerce facilitations. The world is becoming more competitive, which actually means the work of the marketing department is ever increasing, because now you're not just looking at your own domestic market, you actually have to look at the opportunities and the options coming in from the international market as well. So business responds to changing patterns and increased competition. What do businesses have to do to this change, which is a constant? So again, they have to keep improving their existing products. They have to keep reviewing their product and service offering. They need to bring in new products to keep customers' interest. And as we keep noticing around us, products related to technology, you have new model of your mobile or cellular phones coming up almost every 6 months or maybe every quarter now. You need to maintain good customer relationship. The businesses need to maintain good customer relationships. This means the experience with a brand will determine the customer relationship. So this means businesses and brands will have to work on the quality standards. Why do you want to go back to McDonald's every time without even thinking, paying attention? Because you know it is the value for money, because you know the meal or the burger that you've selected once, even if you go 10 times a week, will have almost the similar standard of the quality. The quality will not change that frequently. So you could rely on the brand. So it is very important for businesses to be able to focus on customer relationship strengthening. Businesses would need to keep their costs controlled and low so that they can retain their competitiveness, which means businesses, while marketing is working on product development and promotion, operations management will have to keep working on enhancing the efficiency of the processes to achieve economic scale. And for retaining and maintaining the growth patterns, businesses have to be able to comprehend and understand the dynamics of the market segmentation. They have to classify their target market or the targeted population into different segments so they can cater to their needs and requirements in a better way. So, for any marketing department, one of the important activities they undertake is market segmentation, which actually becomes the base of formulating an effective strategy. So, what is this market segmentation? Market segment is a part of a market that contains a group of buyers with similar buying habits, with similar buying needs, with similar requirements. The way a business segments its market depends on the product being sold and the customers. So this means market segmentation helps you in understanding the needs and requirements of your customers in a better way. For example, if you are launching and offering a product which has an appeal and reach, which has the potential to go nationwide, you would need to create your communication strategy which could cater to or which could tap in the Urdu speaking people, the people who understand Urdu language, the people who get better messages across because of a regional language or maybe the universal official English language. So this means even for communication, you will need to devise and plan accordingly and according to the segmentation. If you have young kids, if you're going to target young kids, you have to tailor your message accordingly. If you are looking at maybe the senior citizens, you will have to adopt the communication strategy which suits them or which gets their attention. So segmentation helps you in carving out your game plan to meet the needs and the requirements of your targeted segment. So how to segment a market? There could be different ways. The most commonly used are socioeconomic, which is, classifying into different economic stratas, which could be according to the jobs or according to the work that, your target market is associated with. This could be based on age, gender, income, area, ethnicity, which is the regional reach. It could be religion based, and so on and so forth. So there could be a combination of different aspects through which you could segment your market. Like if we have to carve out a strategy and we have to work out on segmenting your class, what could be the different way of doing it? This could be on the basis of, defining the month of your birthday. This could be on the basis of your physical address, locality, area, language that you speak, age, grades that you are usually achieving. If we have to work out a strategy, so we could say those who are achieving the highest possible grades have to be, taught in a certain way or coached in a certain way, whereas those who have little challenges would need additional help. So segmentation helps in focusing, in devising customized approaches of satisfying needs and requirements. Benefits of segmentation. Some of the key benefits of segmentation revolves around understanding your customer base closely and deeply so that you could offer them products or services that cater to their needs and help them draw maximum satisfaction. So let's think once again, points to ponder. Why would organizations segment the market? What are the possible issues with doing this? And again, as I said earlier, this is something that you're going to do in the self-study. Think about these and then apply these concepts to the brands and to the products that you use. And I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate that all this helps the marketers to actually cater to your needs, requirements, your as you being their targeted segment. So let's think about it. Let's read, let's dwell, because this will help you comprehend concepts in a better way and attempt your quizzes and assignments to score. While we've been talking about the benefits of segmenting, and there are many, there are some limitations also related to segmenting the market. One most important is the lack of information and data, difficulty in measuring and predicting consumer behavior, keeping the segment size to be profitable for the business. That you don't go that deep down and cut down the segment into smaller pieces where the profitability of the business gets hampered. As mentioned earlier, one of the challenges in segmenting the market is to be able to predict the consumer behavior, because human beings are dynamic enough that you have to study, try and comprehend their behavior, the lifestyle, the pattern, and still you find surprises and things which are not how it was anticipated. So, segmenting needs a lot of homework and needs a lot of information. Sometimes the lack of information and data becomes a major drawback in segmenting. While you have to segment, you have to be able to understand that how the markets are classified. And the markets are primarily classified in two ways: the niche versus the mass. So, mass marketing, as evident from this graphical description, is one big market, whereas niche is classified into smaller subsets or the smaller market segments. Niche versus mass market. As you look at the current slide, you'll be able to comprehend the difference between the two very easily. A mass market is a big whole market which does not have a lot of differentiation of product, whereas the niche market is a specialized market where for every small segment or for every distinctive segment there could be a different set of products, services available. So let's talk about that. What is a niche market? As mentioned already, a niche market is the subset of the market on which a specific product is focused. The market niche defines the product features aimed at specifying specific market needs, which could be related to price, which could be related to product quality, which could be related to demographics. This is usually a small segment of the whole, and it is not the only segment. It is one segment of the whole. For example, for a product like, and I keep going back to the cell phones because most commonly used and most familiar product line these days. And when you talk about Apple, you understand that Apple is a niche product, whereas when you talk about the Android based brands, there are different brands. So Apple becomes one category and others come into another category. And now you could differentiate and you could appreciate that how Apple becomes niche vis-a-vis the other type of technology. So what actually becomes a niche market? In today's globally linked up world, the world of social media, you can understand that different billions of people, millions of people with similar interests and likes form unique communities, and then these virtual communities can become your niche markets or the niche segments, because it is dependent on the distinct attributes, attitudes, and expectations of the customers. So, benefits of a niche market. One of the main benefits of the niche market is that you could offer a specialized product and you could charge a premium price, which means your profit margin could be higher. You looking at a smaller size of market. You do not sometimes have big competition. Products that you offer are not very price sensitive. And there are certain limitations of the niche market as well. The market may remain small is one of the main drawbacks of niche market. And sometimes if the product becomes an important potential product, some larger firms would want to enter that domain and take up the market share. So these are some limitations of the niche market, whereas it has lots of benefits. And one of the benefits of the niche markets could be that, you enter the niche, you establish a customer base, and then you start expanding and you could become mass. So as we've identified the niche markets, niche marketing is the process of tailoring a product to a particular type of consumer and market segment. So I'm sure you understand that niche marketing is developing a specialized product or service for the consumers with distinctive needs. As we define niche market as a specialized market, automatically you'll be able to define a mass market, which refers to a market for goods or services produced on a large scale for a significant number of end consumers. For example, a beverage brand like Coke or Pepsi, they're looking at the mass markets, but simultaneously they're using the concept of niche marketing as well while they're talking about or while they offer a certain flavor or a certain type of drink like the low calorie drink. So they're actually focusing at the people who are health conscious or the calorie conscious. So they are catering to a niche market as well as focusing at a mass as well. You understand that mass marketers thrive on must have items, and these are the huge volumes, maybe low on profit share. Actually, mostly low on profit share because there's a lot of competition and there is price sensitivity. But they operate on volumes, like we just discussed. Coke, Pepsi, versus maybe you look at Range Rover as a Jeep, or maybe you look at mobile phone, maybe you look at a specialized brand name in technology. So you can understand the differentiation linked with the two. One of the of the mass market is, since it's produced on the large scale, economies of scale could be achieved, which actually means as the volumes of production increase, the average costs reduce down, which actually means you have a room to become more competitive, or you have a room to probably increase a little profit margin as compared to the competition. You're operating on a large scale. You have big, large volumes in terms of sales, even if the profit margin is small, and then because of the large volumes, your profits increases. Like niche marketing, mass markets have limitations. One of the major limitations that mass market is directly related with the competition. So this means where there is high competition, you cannot charge higher prices. You have to operate on lower profit margins. Now, this understanding of the market helps the marketing team to be able to comprehend and design their strategies accordingly. So, like we've defined niche marketing, we understand the mass marketing is the process of devising products with mass appeal and promoting them to all types of customers. The ultimate aim is to create a generic brand. For example, for a cola drink, for a fizzy drink, you may hear people calling a Coke Pepsi, or maybe Pepsi as Coke, depending on their brand familiarity. But mass market has this big appeal that you could have a generic brand established, which again helps in strengthening the customer loyalty. With these concepts, we conclude today's session, and now is the time to review and reflect. I strongly suggest to you that after today's session, go through your Google Classroom, do review the reference materials attached there, do study, do read through your textbook, and if you have any questions or queries that pop up later while you're doing the self-study, you're most welcome to connect through the Google Classroom or send an email, and then we could address your questions and queries in the coming session. There are small quizzes and activities linked up with today's session that will help you further clarify and understand the concept discussed today. So, good luck and looking forward to meet up in the coming week.